media queries can be one of the most powerful declarations we have in CSS, because based on certain conditions, like changing the screen size or something like that, we can completely change how our page looks and reacts. And one of the things we can do is get that ready to be mobile friendly. So on this media query right here, we have this max width of 600 pixels, meaning it's going to make the changes up to 600 pixels, or the maximum width seen will get these changes. And when we take our page and we go down to lower levels, let's look at what that looks like. So we go down and everything's starting to get squished, right? We've got an element here that has, is floated to the side, and these words don't really read very well. And we have a horizontal menu and some things that we might not like on it. And so let's do this. The first thing we want to do is take some CSS that we want to override. So I'm going to grab this wrapper code right here, and I'm going to bring that down the very bottom, and I'm going to apply this wrapper code. And what we're going to do here is we're going to override elements. So I don't want this changed, so I'm going to delete that, meaning it's up above, it's going to be read into the system, but I don't need to read it in again because it's already read in once up above. I do want to change the width, and so I'm going to change this to 100% rather than be 80, and the rest of this I don't want changed at all. And so this is something we'll pull out. So let's look at that. You can see now when we resize and we get smaller, our wrapper goes away from 80% into 100, but we can still see this line, and that's just caused by the body having a margin applied to it. So if I just say margin 0, you can see now when I refresh it, it goes edge to edge, and that margin's gone until I leave that 600 plus pixels and go larger, then it changes. Okay. Some other things we might want to change is I have this float here, and I have that applied down the bottom of my page to a figure right here. And so I can go to that figure tag, and I can copy it down inside of these curly braces here again, and I can say float is going to be none. And so when I get really small, the float turns off, as you can see. Now let's play with the menu a little bit here. We want this to be a vertical menu when we're in mobile, and we want it to be a horizontal menu when we are in a desktop mode. Now one easy way of doing that, one way that we might want to consider, is changing that over to be a flexbox. Okay, and so we're going to take this flexbox and just apply it by typing out a display flex. And what it's going to do is it's going to change our UL from being a block element, which is default, into a flex element. And because of it, our list items don't really become list items anymore. They become just kind of sub-children of that unordered list. And so what we're going to say is we're going to say the width of each of these are going to be 100%. And let's look at that. Now you can see we have each of these items trying to be 100%, but can't quite fit because they're only so big, and you have to kind of get these all on the same page. Let's also add a flex flow, and we're going to say that this is going to be a row and a no wrap. Okay. The last thing is we probably want these centered, each word centered on this. And so on this list item anchor, I'm going to add a text align center. Okay, and so I'll refresh that, and you can see how each of these are that way. Now, when I get smaller on this menu, it still actually kind of works. But if you have more than 5 menu items and they're longer words, we probably would really want to go vertical with that. So let's change our nav UL. When we get down here, let's add a nav UL, and the only change we need to really make here is on our flex flow. We're going to leave that all the same. So I'm going to tab that over, and rather than being a row, let's make it be a column. And refresh it. And now you can kind of see how that column shows up, and we can, click on each of these various items. Now, We'd probably want to do something with a hamburger that we could click on, but that's a little bit more advanced topic for today. And we'd probably want to use some JavaScript with that. But it's a good start on showing how you could take a page and make it a horizontal menu in a row or a vertical menu using a column, and having those all built on top of Flex. But really simple, easy way to make changes. But this is how we would make changes on our page if we wanted to move items around or float them differently or do some different things like that.